evening, everyone. Welcome to the January 18th, 2023 Inland Wetlands meeting. Lisa, will you please call the roll?
Ranjit Bahav.
I see Ranjit. He may not, he's muted.
What should I do?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, sorry. This is Ranjit Bhave. I'm here. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I just
Daniel
gone for a bathroom break.
Dan Bedecker,
Here.
Jim Connors, Matthew
Mr. Connors is attempting to enter. He's having some technical difficulties.
Okay. Dave DeFlamary, Heather Donaldson Gladue,
Here.
Steve Munson,
Here.
Lisa Tryon, Brendan Magnan.
Here.
There is a quorum and I call the meeting to order. This is the organizational meeting of the Inland Wetlands Agency for 2018. I'm sorry, for 2023. Give me 1 second to invite Mr. Connors again to the meeting. We will. Mr. Munson has been sworn in as a new commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Munson, for volunteering your time again. And I just need to read the governor's notice. As we continue to host remote meetings, I want to take the opportunity to highlight a few guidelines to ensure business runs efficiently, and that all statutory and administrative rules are followed. In accordance with the Freedom of Information Act and Governor Lamont's executive orders, this meeting is being recorded and will be made available on the City of Milford website. During this meeting, if members of the Inland Wetlands Commission would like to speak, please utilize the raise your hand feature via Zoom. All participants will be muted during the meeting unless recognized by the chair. After being recognized to speak, please state your name and address prior to making a statement. Item B is the organizational meeting. I'm going to read the chairman's responsibilities from our bylaws. Bylaws section 5.2, the chairperson shall preside at all meetings and hearings of the MIWA and has authority that includes, but is not limited to, calling special meetings, directing or authorizing actions of the MIWA designated agents when, in the judgment of the chairperson or an agent, action is required during the period of time between regularly scheduled meetings or before a special meeting can be called. Appoint subcommittees for purposes and terms approved by the MIWA. Attend all subcommittee meetings as an ex officio member of each committee, and attend significant city meetings as required to represent the MIWA. Bylaw section 5.3 states the chairperson shall have the privilege of discussing and voting on all matters before the MIWA, but should not move for or second any motion. Lisa, could you please run the election for, elections for 2023?
Yes. I'd like to ask for any nominations for chairman, please.
I'd like to nominate Brendan Magnan as chairman.
Do I hear a second?
A second.
Are there any other nominations? Going once, twice, 3 times. I will close the nominations and I will cast 1 vote nominating Brendan Magnan chairman.
Thank you for the nomination and the vote. I will be glad to serve in that capacity. At this time, I'd invite Lisa to continue the elections, starting with the vice chair.
Okay, I call for all nominations for vice chair, please.
Just a question, Mary Rose, did you say Commissioner Connors was joining? Because I don't see him.
He is having difficulty getting in. I'm sorry if you Excuse me for a second.
We'll just give you a moment to see if you can coordinate that. While that's happening, is there anyone from the commission that's interested in serving as a vice chair? Perhaps Mr. Bedeker? Would you like to be vice chair?
No, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to volunteer. Sure.
Maybe Mr. Bedeker, you could nominate Mr. Munson.
Mr. Chairman, I wish to nominate Steve Munson as vice chair.
And I will second that.
Motion, nomination has been, oh, Lisa, maybe Lisa, could you do the,
Yes.
you're better.
Okay, so Steve Munson's nominated by Daniel Bedeker and seconded by Heather Donaldson Gladue. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Going once, twice, 3 times. There being no other nominations, I cast one vote, deeming Steve Munson vice chair.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I'd like to
Congratulations.
open nominations for a parliamentarian.
Oh, boy.
Are there any nominations for parliamentarian?
I would like to nominate Heather.
Okay,
I'll second that nomination.
is there any discussion? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, once, twice, 3 times. I will cast one vote deeming Heather Donaldson Gladue parliamentarian.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I'm in here.
Okay, you made it, Jim.
Yep.
Great. Glad to see you on the call, or hear you on the call, I should say.
Yeah, it's easier to hear me.
Yeah. Okay, so we have just concluded the elections, and at this point, I'd like to ask for a motion for the compliance officer, Mary Rose Palumbo, to act as the designated agent of the agency.
I'll make that motion.
Motion is
And I
made.
will second that.
We have a second. Great. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Great. Any abstains? Any oppositions? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
And your resume is on file with the Milford, England Wetlands office.
Yes, it is.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for your service, your continued volunteered service, and looking forward to a productive 2023. Hope everyone had a nice holiday. We can now move on to the regular meeting at this time. I'd like to invite everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. If Mary Rose, you could show the flag. And if everyone could unmute themselves and join me in stating the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of
United
America
States of America,
and to the republic for which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
Nation.
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible, with
visible,
liberty
and liberty and
and
justice
justice
for all.
for all.
Great. Item D, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on topics not otherwise on the agenda? Going once, going twice. Hearing none, moving on to item E1. Mary Rose, could you introduce this one?
Yes. This is, sorry, just lost the number. IWA 23-0010 Cherry Street, also known as Jefferson Park. This is a application by the city of Milford to place a river walk with about 225 feet of 5-foot sidewalk along the Wepawag River. The proposal includes construction, grading, and vegetation removal along the Wepawag. Site is located between Prospect and River Streets and the Wepawag River. If you give me just a second, I'll share an aerial so you can see that. This is the location of the site. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. This is the Parsons Building, City Hall Duck Pond. This is the City Hall and the Mayor's office. And this would be the parcel. This street here is Prospect Street. This is River Street. And this is the Wepawag River. You can see this picture was taken in the summer. The park has a sidewalk that may need a little repair going through it with a park bench, and is nicely treed. I'll now share the, try to share I apologize, I'm having mouse difficulties. Okay. This is site plan locating the site. Can you still see that?
Yes.
All right. Little screen does not want to cooperate today. So the proposal is to, doesn't want to cooperate at all. There we go. The proposal is to place a sidewalk here along the river. The river's here. Again, this is Prospect Street and this is River Street. This is the in red is the existing sidewalk. This is too small. I'm not sure if it's coming through.
It's okay.
It's okay. All right. There's currently vegetation in here, some of which is invasive. The tree warden would need to look at that and see what they would like to remove and if we need to replace it. City engineer has submitted another plan, which hopefully I can share if I can drop this. Search that. And lost the screen. There it is. Share. All right, so on this, the second sheet, that was received late this afternoon and will be added to the link tomorrow morning. City engineer has added some anti-track pad. A silt fence had existed on the previous plan and talked about vehicle entrance and safety of erosion controls for the catch basins. This proposed work is with a new product called Stormcrete, which is a precast permeable concrete sidewalk. They would dig this trench as this detail shows, with about 12 inches of stone underneath and a leveling course. And then the Stormcrete blocks are 4x5. They're proposing a 5-foot wide sidewalk, so they would put them in 4-foot lengths to be permeable so that this would qualify as the stormwater for MS4 for this addition of impervious surface for the site. The Public Works Director is here with us this evening to discuss the project if anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Mary Rose. Mr. Saley, do you want to add anything to the record?
No, I think Mary Rose explained it very well. I mean, the idea behind it, the thought process is to give accessibility so people can get a little closer to the water. I believe there's going to be some benches so people can, relax and just watch the water. As Mary Rose stated, there's some invasive plants and trees And the goal is to remove those to open up the sight lines, not only from the walkway, but also from the road above Prospect Street and Cherry.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the commission to Mr. Saley or to Mary Rose? Commissioner Bedeker.
Hi, Commissioner Bedeker, through you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Saley, are there any desirable trees that have to be removed along the stream, the web walk?
I believe that anything that's desirable be left. I'm not going to say I know exactly, and the reason being is Steve Johnson, who's the tree warden, was involved with this along with Pat Devine, and Pat had a family issue and he couldn't be at tonight's meeting. That's why I'm stepping in. But I know that Mary Rose will be involved with the decision-making process, but I believe that most of them are invasives.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And typically, if there's a tree that we want to keep, we normally trim it up a little bit just to give a little, like, lift the canopy up. So, I mean, I walked there, it had to be 6-8 months ago, so it's kind of hard to tell. But like I said, our goal is to beautify it, clean up the invasives, and give accessibility to it.
Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Chair. I did walk the site last spring with Mr. Saley. I also walked it in the fall with Mr. Devine, who's in charge of this project. This is a picture in the fall, looking from the very southern end of the project up the river at the variety of trees and coverage over the river. You can see the Jefferson Bridge right near City Hall right here in the left of the picture. And this is a view from the opposite direction. Well, not the opposite, from the other side, from the Jefferson Park. This is that sidewalk you saw in red on the plan. And that's the vegetation adjacent to the river.
Thank you, Mary Rose. Commissioner Bahave.
Yeah, good evening. Through you, Mr. Chair, this permeable concrete, although sounds best of both worlds, generally it has tendency to get clogged. All those pores tend to get clogged with dust over the period of time. And if that dust is not cleared, then it doesn't serve the intended purpose. So I would like to know if the city has any plan to vacuum the sidewalk out every so years so that it will still serve its intended purpose.
Yeah, so my understanding is that the best practices, you're correct, is to vacuum it out at a certain time level. And that is the goal of the city.
So does that need to be part of a permit, a condition for as a part of permit, or that's a standard practice, I guess?
Mary Rose, I'd let you answer that.
It probably should. Similarly, when we approved the lacrosse fields at Foreign High, there was a storm drain that needed a filter in it, and that was part of one of the conditions was that would be changed on the regular schedule. So I guess vacuuming of the sidewalk or regular maintenance of the sidewalk would be a condition for this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bahave. Any other questions?
Mr. Munson has a question.
Oh, thank you. I didn't notice that. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Munson.
Yes, just a quick question about this Stormcrete. You said it's a relatively new product.
That is correct.
Okay, how new?
Well, new enough that I didn't know about it until about 3 hours ago. And as the commission knows, or one of the commissioners know, it is an issue that we're going to have to maintain it because of the fines get in it and it clogs. It's just similar to pervious asphalt. And pervious asphalt, we have an area over, I believe, at JFK School that has the same thing. But I met with the city engineer this afternoon and we discussed it, and the best practices of how often it will be vacuumed and how it's going to be vacuumed will be left up to, part of, I guess, your approval.
Well, I guess what my thinking here is, I don't know, I don't know much about concrete, but I did actually get many years ago get involved. This kind of involved. It's fairly pervious, as I understand, correct?
That's the goal, yes.
Okay. Does that, since it's pervious, it's obviously going to be have, water, moisture going through it. What's the anticipation of it eroding away over time, and how often would that need it be replaced?
Well, in the plans, it shows, I believe it's a 12-inch bed of 3/4-inch clean stone. We're going to have a fabric paper, some kind of stabilizing fabric underneath it. I don't believe it shows it on the plans, but I spoke with the city engineer about that. And then I think it's 2 inches of 3/8 inch clean stone, and then it gets bedded onto that. I've never used it before, so I'd be, speculating, but I think that bedding in that area, I think will be fine. The bigger question, I think, would be, if we have a major flooding event more than the rain coming down on the river, I think that would be something that would be interesting. It's going to be a trial and error, I think.
Well, what I'm also thinking about, not just, the constant flow, floods and all that, but also the freezing, thawing, that has a serious effect on lots of things.
Yes, 100%. I mean, like I said, I knew there was a sidewalk going in, and I know how this product got chosen. It wouldn't have been my first choice. I think I would have done some stormwater mitigation instead, but I'm not the city engineer. And like I said, Pat Devine and Greg Bidlewski were doing this. So. Okay.
So there might be some options instead of doing this that might be better. I mean, just to look at it. I mean, are there options that would have pros? And I mean, look, no plans. Get something that's got pros and cons to it. I mean, I don't know how much of that's been discussed.
Maybe, Mr. Nelson, we could have the applicant or Mr. Saley come back, because we're not going to vote on this evening.
Right.
It's being presented for the first time. So perhaps, Mr. Saley, you could come back to us, or your designee could come back to us at the next meeting to sort of assuage any concerns we have about, the product. And
yeah, I'm thinking more about the freezing and thawing aspects of it. I mean, that that can wreck a lot of things.
And I do agree with you on that. I mean, the other issue, there is a maintenance component to it, and I'll talk with Greg Moore about it, and also Pat, and I'll talk with Mary Rose and pick her brain to see what she thinks. Originally, when we talked about it, we talked about a small swale down there to retain any rainwater coming off it. I mean, it's not a substantial amount of impervious surface. I think it's 200 feet by, or 210 by 5 feet. So the math is the math. It's 1,000 square feet. So I think it's good that the commission decides to just let's look at this and let's have a little bit more discussion. It's obviously not going to happen until the springtime anyway. So.
Okay.
that's actually a good question that I was going to ask you, Mr. Saley, was when the intended implementation was going to be. But are you thinking the springtime?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to jinx us. We've had really, really good weather. Our concrete contractor is off until I think mid-February, depending on the weather. Our luck, it'll probably get cold. And, but we normally start the first or second week in March with some prep work. So I would think sometime in there, but I think we have plenty of time to look at this.
Great. Thank you. Commissioner Bahave, did you have another question to add or?
Yeah, no, so I just wanted to share some information about the freeze-thaw cycle, how that impacts the concrete. So these concrete materials are specially prepared. It's called air entrant concrete, in which all the air voids are connected to each other. So unlike the normal concrete, where if water goes into a void and it doesn't find a way to expand, and then that's how concrete starts to crack. But these porous concretes, they have like special way to make sure that all those voids are connected to each other, and that's how actually it drains the water below. So based on my experience, they don't have issue associated with the freeze-thaw cycles. But it's just my 2 cents. I think it's good to hear from the city about all the other aspects as well next time.
Just a conceptual question, Mr. Saley. How close is the sidewalk to the river, and is there any kind of barrier that will be put up, or?
Yes, during construction, there'll be a silt fence that shows it on the plans. I believe in Mary Rose, could you pull that map up again? It's tough to see by scale, but I think it's about 5 or 6 feet away.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the, well, I didn't mean to show the photos right now, but the proposed silt fence is about 2 feet off the edge of the river. And then the sidewalk is about 5 feet off the edge of the river. So these pictures were taken by the city engineer this afternoon. If you look at this drain here, I'll show you the map. And you can see that drain, that white drain you saw in the other picture, is this drain daylighting right here. So here in that area, the sidewalk is probably almost 10 feet away. And then as you move up the river here and there, it generally holds 5 feet. With the silt fence about 2 feet off of the river, giving you 3 feet to dig the trench and put the stone in and install the bedding layer and then the stormcrete.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Saley or Mary Rose? Will the existing concrete sidewalk stay as is?
There's going to be, it is going to stay in that location. There's some areas that we need to repair. If you walk it, you'll see it. It's actually, it's been a while since I've been there, but it's just a decent amount that had some cracks and settlement issue that we're going to repair. And I believe we'll probably put, as it shows on the existing bench, my goal would be to put a few more benches in that area. We have a lot of people that want memorial benches throughout the city. I think this would be a great location.
Great. All right. If there's no other questions, we can move on to the next item on the agenda.
Okay, does the agency wish to take any action? Does anyone have any other questions they'd like answered by the city engineer or Mr. Saley between now and the next meeting?
Mr. Munson.
Yeah, I would just ask the other commissioners if they think a site walk is in order.
Mr. Connors?
No, I can't see too much, but it sounds like a very good plan. My only question would be, does Chris or the City Public Works have the means of vacuuming that?
You bring up a very good point, and that's one of my concerns. I'll be out
I know
there
I'm
with
just a
shop
troublemaker,
vac.
Chris, that's all.
No, listen, I hate to say this. When I looked at it, the first thing I thought is, who thought of this idea? Because, it's the location, this is what we want. And my city engineer went to some seminar and fell in love with this. That's what he told me today. I honestly didn't know a lot about it, so
It
until I
sounds
looked at
good.
it. What's that?
It sounds good.
Yeah, listen, there's a church in Bridgeport that put some bituminous pervious asphalt. It's a nightmare, especially in a
Didn't
heavy.
Subway do that on here in Milford?
Yeah, it was the JFK school did it.
Right.
Yeah,
The-
Subway
and
did
so-
it too, I believe.
Mr. Connors?
Yes.
In some instances, there have been issues with the concrete has to be specially formulated at the concrete plant and
Right.
then brought to site and poured in a certain manner. And the contractor has to be willing to waive off a load if it doesn't meet certain specs. And that doesn't always happen. And then it doesn't function as well as it could.
Okay. Well, I
and then
had
there's
no
maintenance
idea how
concerns.
it ever turned out at Subway, but I know it was, we discussed it in length.
Yes, we did. So.
Okay,
three-
so my only question, sounds like a good idea.
Through
Yeah.
you, Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Saley. So is the answer we currently don't have a means to vacuum this, or that we're going to outsource vacuuming?
We would outsource it or find out what kind of vacuum I would need. I mean, it's not like I said, it's not a huge area. It's 1,000 square feet, round numbers. So we would figure that out. I know there's a few vacuum companies around. We'd have to, I'd have to see, like, it's only a 5-foot wide walk area. So we want to make sure whoever can get down there with the equipment.
It's got to be brought as a portable vacuum, can't be on a truck.
Yes, exactly. You can't put a heavy weight on it. You'll see me there with a shop vac probably.
Okay, I'll take pictures.
All right, so does anybody, the options the agency has this evening are to ask questions, to take no action, to request additional information, schedule a site walk, schedule a public hearing, and that's pretty much it. So what
My
is the-
opinion is let's take no action and get a little more information.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I agree with that, Mr. Connor's comment as well. I don't think a site walk is necessary. I had a technical issue. I got dropped. I just rejoined.
Sorry about that. All right, so the questions I have is what the regular maintenance is going to be, what the time frame is, and I think I'll ask the city engineer, but I think Commissioner Bave has answered the question on the freeze thaw cycle. And we wanted to know what an alternative application would be. Is there anything else?
I don't think so.
All right, thank you.
I think that's,
Okay, so can you show the agenda, Mary Rose?
Oh, sorry about that. Maybe. Yeah. Apologize, this mouse does not want to play with what we've got on the screen today. Hold on.
I believe while you're pulling that up, I believe it's consideration of the minutes from the previous meeting.
It is consideration of the minutes of the previous meeting. I apologize.
Do we have a motion to accept those as presented from December 7th, 2022?
I'll make that
so-
motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Lisa, roll call vote, please.
I don't know if I was there or not, so should I abstain?
Yeah,
Yes.
Ranjit Bahav,
Aye.
Daniel Bedecker,
Aye.
Jim Connors,
I guess I'll abstain.
Heather Donaldson Gladue,
Aye.
Steve Munson,
Aye.
Brendan Magnan.
aye. Thank you, everyone. Motion carries. Item G, staff report.
All right, folks. Welcome to everyone, and thank you for volunteering your time to the agency. Just a few annual reminders. Cannot talk about an application before you with anyone but the staff outside of the meeting room. If you're approached by concerned citizens, please refer them to me or to a public hearing so that everyone can hear their concerns presented to the entire agency. This is to ensure that everyone is making decisions on the same set of facts and information with no outside bias. Taft emailed you the annual information, including Milford ethics brochure. If you want a hard copy, please let us know. We have them in the office. They have not changed. And past correspondence from the city attorney's office on ex parte communication and individual research by commissioners. Notes also include links to Connecticut DEEP training and the Connecticut Land Use Academy training if you're interested in attending. Several commissioners and myself are going to go to the Connecticut Bar Association annual land use commissioner training in March. That's via Zoom. That's an all-day seminar, and we'll bring that information back to you at a meeting shortly thereafter. I will send out the commissioner synopsis sheets so that you can mark them up with your experience. Please be sure to let me know that I have your correct email and phone numbers, or if anything's changed you'd like changed. And if you have a different preferred method of plan review, if you want a hard set of plans, please let me know so that we can get that to you in time for meetings. The office has been busy working on the South Central Regional Council of Government Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan. Thank you to those who attended the meeting last week. And the annual FEMA Community Rating System and MS4 submissions. We've had a number of inquiries and minor reviews and other reporting, and we've had people inquiring about projects they want to do this spring. We are accepting digital applications through the online permitting request system, City Squared, and processing them in the Municity permitting system. There are a few issues to work out with the software. We are working with Joe Griffith, the director, and the provider on those issues. Status product sites are in the notes. Mr. Chair, do you want me to go through each one, or do you want just to be available?
No, I would just ask if any commissioner has questions about a particular project to ask you at the end.
Other than that, does anybody have any questions for me?
No.
Great. Thank you, Mary Rose.
Thank you.
Thank you for your assistance in this evening's meeting. As a reminder, the next meeting for the regular meeting, the next meeting will be a regular meeting on February 1st at 7:30. And that's it. Do we hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion made by Heather. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second from Mr. Connors. All in favor? Roll call
Aye.
vote.
Aye.
Aye.
I guess Lisa has to do the roll call vote.
Okay, Ranjit Bahav,
Aye.
Daniel Bedecker,
Aye.
Jim Connors,
Aye.
Heather Donaldson Gladue,
Aye.
Steve Munson,
Aye.
Brendan Magnan.
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks, everyone. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night, all.